Yes, yes, yes. We are live on YouTube and we are live in my home, which 30 feet from me is my kitchen. I'm actually doing laundry in the other room. I'm talking to my friends. The backyard is right there. The dog is good today. And it's a Modelo Friday, Big D. Modelo Friday. Modelo Friday, yes. Quiet week in the Raider Nation. That's water, but that's my Allegiant Stadium Raider Cup. Yes, we are live from my home today. You know our limitations here. You're not going to be able to hear the guests, so I'm only going to go 30 minutes today. I got to head over to the Raiders to do a chalk talk. I got to get a shower, a suit on, do my other gig today, so we'll do 2 hours, but I'm only going to open this up for about a half hour, the monologue, and probably till about 12:40 until the first guest. Put in the chat what you want to talk about. We got people watching from Long Beach, California, cool breeze in the LBC. My sons are watching at ASU. Both my sons went there for a brother's weekend. Yep. Yes, the Four Nations hockey was incredible last night. We lost to Canada, man. We lost to Canada. That sucked. That was a good game, man. That was a really good game. And Connor McJesus beats us. How the hell was he not covered in the high slot? I don't know. Yeah, so I got the brick backdrop. Great hockey game, despite the loss, Snow Raider. I agree with you. All right, I'm excited. The weather is amazing, man. We got great weather, man. That's why it's awesome living out here. I heard it's going to get to 85 degrees in LA. 85 in LA. 60 degrees and sunny. That was PK Subban, right? Okay.
Show where the Raider Nation has come to sound off and react for over 20 years.
It's the JT the Brick Show, broadcasting live from the Finley Cadillac Performance Studio.
Raiders bring a blitz. He takes it off the mid, and he's wrapped up from behind. Max Crosby.
Your silver and black home to sound off for over 25 years.
Open at the 30. Racing to the 20. 10. Touchdown Raiders.
And now.
Out of the gate, JT with you from the home studio today, streaming live from my home. And you can not see my home, but you can see the brick backdrop. And I'm 5 feet from my backyard, which is great. A little backyard brick today. It's a Modelo Friday. So everybody raise a glass or a bottle or a draft. Modelo. Proud partner of our show. I hope everybody has a good weekend here. It is 60 degrees and sunny in Las Vegas. It is a bluebird day out here. I was just outside for a big walk. It was incredible playing fetch with the dog. I got a dog every day that if you play fetch, it's like it's the first time he's ever played fetch. Like he gets so excited. We play fetch for about a half hour there, get the arm loose, and then we got a good weekend, a big Raider weekend. As 2 hours from now, I'll be at the Raiders headquarters, showered and buttoned up for a talk with Aiden O'Connell. So I'm going to be interviewing Aiden O'Connell today. It's a private event, but I'll have some good information on Monday, along with one of the greatest players of all time, Rod Woodson. So that's going to take place at 2:30 after I get off the show here. And then tomorrow night, excited about the Commitment to Excellence Awards in Henderson as we honor Max Crosby. And obviously, Max will be in attendance, and the auction items will go to his foundation. And I'm excited to spend some time with Max and his wife, Rachel, and the family. And that will be a great night. And then that's it. We're going to get back into the combine. The combine's right around the corner. NFL free agency. The franchise tag window is open. And we're in the deep water, man. We're in the deep end of the pool now, treading water because there's no football. The NBA's coming back, but you're not interested in the NBA. We get a chance to see the Daytona 500, then NASCAR kind of goes off a cliff. Baseball. The Yankees made breaking news today that they'll allow beards, but they must be groomed. Couldn't have a beard and play for the Yankees for close to 40 years. You could not have facial hair. That's one of the biggest trending stories there. So you can have a beard, you can have a mustache, but you got to trim it. So you can't have one of those wild ones going on, not if you're a Yankee. I mean, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle didn't have beards, and they played for the Yankees. Derek Jeter never had a beard, and he played for the Yankees. But I guess the Yankees are saying, we want some of those guys with beards, man, because we need to win. And they haven't won since 2009. I've been going back and forth with my Yankee buddies on that today. But this was an amazing week in sports, and one that I'll never forget. And that's the focus of the monologue, brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. I talked to some of our partners over at Golden Entertainment. They had a banner night last night because everybody flooded in to the 70-plus locations to watch Four Nations hockey. So a round of applause for me, if we had applause, because I covered the story and I dove deep into the Four Nations all week. I thought it was important that we had something to pivot to after Kansas City. Yes, Kansas City got beat in the Super Bowl. That was glorious. And we had some live sports coming up with hockey, and we didn't know how it would work. And it was tremendous. It was fantastic. It was one country versus three others, but it really came down to Canada. Canada going up against Team USA, and last night Canada won in an epic hockey game in overtime. The best player in the world, Connor McDavid, beat us. I'm an American. In the high slot with no one guarding him with a wicked, as they say in Boston, a wicked shot to the upper corner. No goalie would have saved that. The best guy took us out, and I tip my cap to Canada for participating and winning that tournament. It was a big tournament. It was a big deal, and it was a seminal point, I think, in sports in 2025. Because as I've often told you, we are becoming a softer and softer sports society by the minute. We are getting so bleeping soft because of this. If you're watching on YouTube, our cell phones and the fact that our heads are embedded in our phones and we're only used to 40 seconds to 50 seconds of reels and highlights, that we can't focus on what sports is all about. Sports is about rivalries, number one. Anybody can play anybody. When the Toronto Blue Jays play the Angels of Anaheim in LA, there's no rivalry. So you can watch the baseball game, but it doesn't mean anything. But if you watch the Yankees and the Red Sox, or the Packers versus the Bears, or the Raiders versus the Chiefs, I think you'd all admit it means a lot more because it's a rivalry. And then when you can get countries that are rivals, in hockey, it's USA versus Canada. Russia maybe someday will be allowed back in if they start behaving. And we can talk about a Six Nations tournament, including Russia, where some of the best hockey players in the world play, and they might be able to win this thing. But it came down to Canada and the United States entertaining us for over a week, and they did it. And they knocked it out of the park, and it was bleeping great. And it's a seminal moment because now we can look at the failure of the NBA All-Star Game. We can look at the failure of the Pro Bowl. We can look at all the other events that we're not interested in. And now we have finally something good that we can talk about in mid-February that worked. And everybody deserves a round of applause in the NHL for pulling that off. The NHL is talking to a buddy of mine who's been involved in the NHL for 30 years. And he said, if you give the NHL an opportunity to make a decision, they're going to make a bad one. Historically, they do. Their television contract has always sucked. It just, unless you go to the arena and you're watching the games live, it doesn't play out on TV the way it does inside. And the NHL has made bad decision after bad decision for decades. Well, they made a beautiful decision and they kicked the crap out of the NBA. Now, I got a little bit of a problem because I'm an NBA guy. I love the NBA. Oh, my God, I love the NBA, but you don't anymore. And you're taking it out on me because I'm losing you. I own a store. I need all the people to come into my store every day. And a bunch of NBA former fans aren't coming into the store anymore. They don't want to talk about it. They don't care about LeBron James. They don't care about Zion Williamson. They don't want to talk about Damian Lillard. There's no interesting topic in the NBA that I could gravitate to and then lead with the monologue on other than the famous and greatest NBA topic of the modern era. Jordan versus LeBron. That's it. What else are you going to talk about in the NBA? Who's going to win the title? You think people care if Denver and the Nuggets go back to a championship run? You really believe this year where you have the Memphis Grizzlies and the Oklahoma City Thunder, you think I can do a radio show like that locally or nationally? We can't do it. But if I open up the phones and say, I think LeBron's better than Jordan, you pull over on the side of the road, you go, wait a second, I don't agree. And that's the only NBA topic we have. And then on top of it, hockey piled on the NBA during their All-Star weekend where the NBA didn't show up. There's no loyalty to the country or loyalty to the conference, East versus West. No loyalty to the team. You think Kevin Durant's loyal to the Phoenix Suns? You think Kevin Durant gives a rat's blank about the Phoenix Suns after playing for Oklahoma City, starting off in Seattle and playing for the Nets and the Warriors? You think Kevin Durant gives a crap about the Phoenix Suns? He doesn't care about them at all. So you're not supposed to care about Kevin Durant because he doesn't care about the Phoenix Suns, and he really doesn't care much about the All-Star game other than chucking up threes. But at one point last night, we had Connor McDavid, the Kachuk brothers on the ice. Great goaltending from the Americans and the Canadians. Man, America could have won that game. We could have won that game in overtime. Bobby, give me the game-winning goal. This is Connor McDavid, the best player in the world, ending the Four Nations on one of the quickest and most dangerous shots you'll ever hear or see.
McDavid scores! Connor McDavid scores the goal. Team Canada wins.
3.
Nation's gold.
So Team Canada wins, and I was at a casino. I'll talk about it more next hour. I was at a casino sports book last night with a bunch of friends, and we were on the edge of our seat. Now, we were having cervezas, and we were having cocktails. There was even a shot or two mixed in of tequila. And we were having fun, but when it got to overtime, we didn't even look at each other. We weren't even listening. Our phones were turned upside down. Turn your phone upside down. We were just concentrating because we knew a goal was going to be scored, a greasy, dirty goal. Something's going to get tipped in. And we could have stayed there for 3 overtimes, but it ended quickly, and McDavid beat us. So I wasn't embarrassed by it. I wasn't really crazy upset. I wanted Team USA to win. But what was fun about the game is it could have went either way, which is great when competition. When you get to a game that is tied, you go to overtime, extra innings in baseball, whatever it is, and both teams deserve to win. Whoever won that game, you knew would be deserving. And I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a penalty or some cheap goal or some deflection off of some guy's skates. And Connor McDavid took us out. So he was able to do that. And a lot of people just, the air let out of the building I was in, but then everybody started clapping 2 minutes after that when Canada was being presented with their championship trophy. So this was a big week in sports. And I struggled with it here because this platform's heavy football and the Raiders. And what I do at night's more national. But, I'm trying to tell everybody, man, there's not many great moments in sports. There's not. And when something like this comes around, hopefully you caught it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it got you out of the house. Hopefully the friends of yours were texting you in a text group and you really enjoyed this, because I did. I'd like your opinion as we wrap it up on this topic on a Friday, 702-365-9200. Couple things come off this topic. Number one, did this help you become a hockey fan? If you weren't a hockey fan, if you're someone that likes the sport but you're not really embedded in it, did this get you more interested? Number two, I think the biggest topic overall, we can now use the NHL to shame the NBA. Shame, shame, shame. We can use the NHL to embarrass the NBA and their $200 to $300 million players who don't play with any passion. Not all of them, but some of them don't give a crap about you. Ticket prices through the roof, $22 beers, and they play and they have nights off and they have load management and they do all this other stuff and they're alienating their fans. I want everybody to be happy. I want every sport to be great and everybody to have a great time at a sporting event. But come on, man. The NBA just got whacked by the NHL, and that's hard to do. The NBA is a much bigger sport than the NHL. Not even close. If you want to look at the television deals, the ratings, the global impact. I mean, the NBA is popular all over the world, including Africa. The NHL isn't thriving in Africa. It's not thriving in the Far East. The NBA is. But I thought the NBA had a terrible week, and I thought the NHL had one of the best weeks that I can remember. So I want to hit on that, get your opinion. This piece of sound I'm about to play from PK Subban, he was on with our buddy Stephen A. Smith, who texted me this morning. So Stephen A. and I text a couple times a week, and he loved the hockey, and he's got some politics things he's talking about. But this was a great segment on First Take where their hockey insider came on a show that's historically the NFL and the NBA and said this.
The money, you're probably right. There's a lot of money, but once again, I ask the question: what are you playing for? Like, if you're really about it, if you're really about sports, then you're about two things: your teammates and the fans. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. When you do not show up to play, you're letting your teammates down. When you do not show up to play, you're letting the fans down that are paying you 40, 50, 60 million. I don't care if you're getting 300 million. Congratulations. But these people in here are paying $2,500 a ticket, $5,000, that are blue-collared, hard-working people. If you don't get your head wrapped around that, you shouldn't be in pro sports. Because how are we going to grow? How do we expect you to be an example? Well, guess what? You don't want to be? You are one. You're on the biggest stage. You just said it. They make the most money. You're an example. You got to
1 minute.
You got to take that on. I'm sick and tired of making athletes greats, all-time greats that aren't the best examples. Those are the people that we want our kids to follow, that we want athletes to follow. That helps us in our game. Stephen A., you want athletes to be educated on this and understand this. They got to understand the importance of showing up to the All-Star game and being on the court and playing banged up sometimes and playing injured maybe at times. Thank you. And participating, because here's the thing. Because you're
30.
100, 200, 300 million, you should be out there banged up. You should be. That's why we pay you, is to max out. We talk about greatness
20.
and the longevity of somebody's career. I don't care if you play 50 years. I want your best 10. I want you on the court dominating. I want you to go up.
10.
I want Michael Jordan. I want Kobe. That's what I want in every sport.
Wow, that's amazing. PK Subban, really a hockey guy, a former hockey player, a flashy guy, likes to get dressed up on the set, fashionista, dropping a bomb. An NHL hockey player, now hockey television personality, dropping a cluster bomb on the NBA. That's what he did. He basically said, you guys have been exposed in the NBA because of our hockey guys. Oh, that's such a good sports topic. It really is, man. Believe me, if LeBron was having dinner with Kevin Durant and John Morant and 6 of them were sitting in the back room of a steakhouse, they wouldn't care. They'd be ordering big magnums of wine. They're all worth, some of them are close to billionaires. They wouldn't care. But NBA fans should care. And it should get you to think about the product. So when I look at sports on a global level, I love to look at European soccer. My sons are into that. Manchester United. I'm a Tottenham fan. I put in a lot of time in my life studying, watching documentaries on European soccer. Why? Why would I do that? Because I think it's better than what we have in our country. And what I mean by that is their fans are more embedded in European soccer, in London, in these broke down towns where they have one soccer club and it's their entire life. And the fans will live and die with that team. We have that in the NFL. We had it in Oakland with the Black Hole. You have it at Lambeau Field with the Packers, Cleveland Browns, the Dog Pound. But it's a limited group of fans. See, because in society today, we need more brain stimulation with sports. It used to be you got a newspaper in the morning, you watched the game at night, you waited for the newspaper in the morning. Then it evolved to a newspaper in the morning, the game at night. 1979, the birth of Sports Center, the late Sports Center where you got all the highlight shows. Then you'd wake up in the morning again with the newspaper. Now in 2025 is no one gets a newspaper anymore. I do. Right here. Look, right outside. Every morning I get a newspaper. And then we turn on our phones. Then we turn on some of these useless debate shows. Some of them are so bad, you'd be horrified to know I'll have a bigger YouTube audience in a year than they have on some of these morning debate shows other than Stephen A. And then we go right back to our phones again. and then possibly watch Pardon the Interruption like I do. And then we watch a live game at night. And then we go to our phones and we don't watch SportsCenter because we don't have to wait till SportsCenter comes on at 11 at night because we can get everything on our phone in clips and 40-second reels. So when you get something that happens in your life that's good, embrace it. When you get something in your life that pops out of nowhere, like Four Nations hockey, embrace it and enjoy it, because I don't think we have a lot of these moments left. I don't. And I'm really optimistic about sports. I love sports. You know that. I hope that's why you listen to me. But at times I crack the sports I love. And at times I point fingers at coaches, athletes, owners, the people who aren't getting it right. And then when someone does something right, I always tip my cap to the team that beats me. Last night, Canada beat me. I was embedded with Team USA. I'm an American. I wrap the American flag around me. I want America to win. I despise the Euros in the Ryder Cup. When the Euros beat us in the Ryder Cup, they spray champagne all over our locker rooms and sing songs and jump up and down. So I want to win. And last night when we lost to Canada, I wasn't devastated because of the glory of the entire Four Nations, how great it was on television. And yeah, a dirty little secret. I like the fact that they tried to crack the NBA across the mouth and say, you're bigger than us. You're bigger. You got more money than us. You got more audience than us, but we're a lot better than you. That's the monologue brought to you by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Have a Tito's with me. Had a few of those bad boys last night, and it was really good. 702-365-9200. Like to get you in this hour on that big topic on hockey, the NBA, or just in general, how we want more live sports. And when we get live sports, we should talk about it on Sports Talk Radio, or this format will die. How about that dirty secret? How's Sports Talk Radio going to survive if no one's watching sports anymore? And people aren't involved in sports the way you were back in the day. Really important topic here. All right, I want to reference an article I read today from Cody Benjamin from CBS Sports to give you a little Raider juice today. Here's the deal. They came out with the top free agent quarterbacks, top 5 projected this offseason. And wait for this. All 5 of them could be connected to the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm talking 5 for 5, baby. All 5 quarterbacks that I mention here, and I'll give you the list from 5 to 1. All 5 of them, if they started week 1 for the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium or on the road, the Raiders would be a playoff contender. I'm careful with that. I'm not saying they're going to the playoffs, but this would automatically, any of these 5 guys would take the Raiders from 4 wins to 8 or 9. And you never know. You get a pick 6 and you got your 10th win. You block a field goal, you get your 9th win, and you're 1 game away from the playoffs. Let me give you the list. This was really good. Number 5, Kirk Cousins. Everybody guess how old Cousins is. What would you guess? 37. Tom Brady played till 43. Kirk Cousins had an Achilles injury. Kirk Cousins is ranked number 5 because Michael Penix was drafted in 2024. Now it's Michael Penix's team. He's not worth a lot of money now. You're looking at a guy that you could get really cheap because all of his guaranteed money was just paid through Atlanta. The projection is he signs a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with the Cleveland Browns. If the Raiders lose out on Kirk Cousins and don't get a quarterback, and it turns out that Cousins only costs $1.5 million, my head's going to pop. Kirk Cousins is not my first choice with the silver and black at all. But I wanted to mention that because it sounds like that deal is going to be really cheap. Number 4, Russell Wilson. He's 36 years old. He's younger than Kirk Cousins. Russell Wilson, his days of dominating the highlight reel might be gone, but he's still a dual threat. He throws the best deep ball, maybe in all of football, top 3. He can still run for a first down. Best fits, Giants, Raiders, and Steelers. Projection, he signs a 1-year, $20 million deal with the New York Giants. All right, we could have got Russ last year for $1 million. The host of the JT the Brick Show, that would be me, said go sign him for $1 million. We didn't. Look what happened last year. I said it. Thought he was a good fit for the Raiders. You thought he was weird. You thought he was weird. Why? Because he goes to a children's cancer hospital every week and donates money and reads to kids? How's he weird? That he gets there early, stays late, lifts weights, always prepared, never in trouble, no DUIs, no accidents, treats people. You didn't like Russell Wilson? Why was that again? You didn't like him. Okay, number 3, Aaron Rodgers. Age 41, current team, the Jets. Projected best fits, number 1. The Las Vegas Raiders. Number 2, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Titans and the Vikings. I think he's going to go to the Titans here. Aaron Rodgers' projected salary. I needed this information today. Very good content. $25 million. This gentleman who wrote the column said he signs a 1-year, $25 million contract with Tennessee. I agree with that. Rodgers has a house in Nashville. I think it's a good team that could be on the rise quickly. And if they don't have to use the number 1 pick on Aaron Rodgers, right? They don't have to. They can get Aaron Rodgers. They can trade out of that number 1 pick down to number 3, 4, 5, and 6 and get 3 first-round picks and have an unbelievable draft and get really good players. So I think that's going to work. Number 2, the best available free agent quarterback, Justin Fields, 26 years old. Okay, his best fit, Raiders, Jets, Browns, and Steelers. Well, I don't think he stays with the Steelers if Russell Wilson stays. If Russell Wilson signs with the Raiders and Pete Carroll or somewhere else, then you better believe Justin Fields is going to stay with Pittsburgh. So I don't know how this is going to play out, but he signs a 1-year, $15 million deal. So remember, $40 million? No, now we're down to 15 for Justin Fields. How about Justin Fields with Chip Kelly and Tom Brady for just $15 million? Sounds like a bargain. The guy can run for first downs. And then finally, the number 1 free agent quarterback available, Sam Darnold. Projected fit, the New York Giants, the Las Vegas Raiders, and staying with the Minnesota Vikings. The projected salary is 3 years, $114 million. And the gentleman who wrote the column today, who I reached out to on Twitter, Cody Benjamin, says today on CBS Sports in its headline, Sam Darnold, expect him to sign for the Las Vegas Raiders, 3 years, $114 million. I could live with that. Yeah, I could live with that. Mark brought in new minority owners, plenty of cash in Vegas, man. It's like an oil well. Just oil coming out in Vegas right next to the building. And that's an easy number. You can easily do that number. You have Sam Darnold. And if Sam Darnold's the starting quarterback of the Raiders, he breaks the huddle on 3. Breaks the huddle, goes to the line of scrimmage, and the Raiders are instantly on the verge of the playoffs with Pete Carroll. They have Sam Darnold at quarterback. They draft a wide receiver maybe in the first round or trade into the first round after they get their first pick. They don't have to spend a pick on a quarterback, which I like to do. I like Shador. But you get Sam Darnold, then you go, okay, we're good. We're good for 2 to 3 years. He just went 14-3. He was at NFL honors as an MVP candidate. And who cares? It's not our money. That's the monologue. 25 minutes of raw passion from my home. How about that? What do you have to say about it? Let's go. Light up the phones, man. Where have the Raider fans been, man? Are you coming on the Raider cruise with me? March 23rd to the 30th. 7 nights on the Mexican Riviera, emceed by me. I can't wait for that. Courtesy of the Black Hole as we continue from home today on the mean streets of Summerlin. Kind of nice, huh? Nice to be sitting at home, kind of chilling. Got my YouTubers with me. The bricklayers are here. None of you guys are on the same page with this quarterback, man. You're all over the place. I don't want Dalton. I don't want Fields. I don't want this. Pass on Milroe. Big D, pass on Milroe. Oh, who the hell do you want, man? Come on. You got to get a quarterback. I think the sharpest thing I said this week is if the Raiders draft Shador, if they get Shador, then it's Aiden O'Connell and Shador. And Aiden will start the year off, and Shador will eventually play and be the quarterback forever in Vegas. That's kind of where I'm going. If not, if it's Sam Darnold, you have Sam Darnold as your starter, Aiden as the backup. Aiden remains the backup. Very good backup, by the way. Aiden O'Connell would be a brilliant backup quarterback to Sam Darnold. There'd be no competition. You wouldn't pay Sam Darnold $114 million to compete. Now, Justin Fields is a guy you can bring in at $15 million and make him compete with Aiden, the way Gardner Minshew competed. Bobby, I don't think I'm going to go short here. I think I'm going to wait for Zig because I think Zig might come a little earlier. But I'm going to have him. You there? Well, I'm only going to take Zig for 10 minutes. I mean, if we get to him at 35, I'm going to have him call us when he's ready. So look for his call, okay? Yeah, well, he might call if I'm going to say if he's ready earlier. 365-9200. Okay, perfect. Okay, sounds good. All right, everybody, I'm going to do about another 5 or 6 minutes. I don't mind you guys. I don't mind anybody, supporting Aiden O'Connell. I'm going to be with him all afternoon today. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good quarterback. We need an elite quarterback in Las Vegas. Elite. Or a great quarterback, if not elite. Look what I have right next to me. Look at that. My dear friend, Black Hole Rob. Trying to figure out what I have in my drawers here. This is my guest room. This is where the guests in my home stay, and then the wife takes down the brick backdrop. And we have clean towels and a beautiful shower and TVs. So this is the guest area here. Oh, this was a good week. Bobby, did you watch the hockey game last night at all? Yeah.
We ain't really decide fully yet. Yeah, we plan on doing it, like an event thing. And where it'll be fun, it'll be more family, friends be able to come. Because the only thing with going to the draft is just I want to spend those moments with my people. And you got to think, having everybody come out there, bro, it's going to be so expensive. Cost-wise, you saving a lot of money. You get to be around your people and all that. It's not just me, that was able to get to this point. It's like a team. It was a team thing. It was a team of people that helped me allow to get to where I am now. So I want to be able to make sure I am able to enjoy that with everybody and nobody be in uncomfortable situations just for traveling and just to show support.
Wow, that's Shador. He's not going to Green Bay. The draft's in Green Bay. You're all aware of that. Home of Vince Lombardi. The Packers, and Shador wants to be with the family, and he said, it's too expensive. Oh, there's a college kid that doesn't have a silver spoon. Dion didn't give that kid a Lambo when he was 14 years old. Everything this kid's earned, he's earned it on his own. I'm surprised by that. The NFL draft doesn't work if your top two quarterbacks or your second best quarterback doesn't go to the draft. I mean, look, I'm all for an offensive lineman staying at home and having barbecue and going late in the first round. But if you're going to make this thing work, I think you want to have your quarterbacks there. JT, back with you as we continue. We're brought to you by Grimaldi's, the best pizza I ever had. I just want to say something quick. After we came out of the Super Bowl, Bobby does a lot of cool things, and he put together our best of Super Bowl. So it had Emmitt Smith, Marcus Allen, Kurt Warner, Fred Biletnikoff. We take about 6-7 minutes, and we send it to all of our partners. And Grimaldi's got back to us and said, thank you so much for the partnership. They listened to it. They liked it, and we love that type of partnership. So thanks to Grimaldi's for the great hookup. If you're coming to Vegas or you're going to the Brooklyn Bridge in New York, you know Grimaldi's has a great history in this country for great pizza. Grimaldi's the best pizza I've ever had. So you just heard about the quarterbacks that I've mentioned here. Okay, and I mentioned a number of quarterbacks. All 5 of the quarterbacks from Kirk Cousins to Sam Darnold are viable options for the Las Vegas Raiders now with Chip Kelly. And I think all those quarterbacks are saying to themselves, wait a second, I've already fleeced the league for all the money in the world. Kirk Cousins, as I said, every quarterback in the NFL should have a statue in their backyard of Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins is the godfather, the inventor of the guaranteed quarterback contract. No quarterback ever before Kirk Cousins got fully guaranteed contracts. Now they all do. Deshaun Watson got $240 million. So Kirk Cousins got all of his money his whole life and was a pretty good player. Not elite, but very good. Now he deserves to play for cheap. And if the Raiders could get Kirk Cousins cheaply as a bridge quarterback to have Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward or Jackson Dart, I would be great with that, because Kirk Cousins would be the first one in, last one to leave. The ball would come out perfectly to Brock Bowers. He'd read the defense at the line of scrimmage, and he's an upgrade. He's Kirk Cousins. But he's not my ideal choice. And Aaron Rodgers isn't my ideal choice, because I know the culture of Pete Carroll is going to be different. All the other coaches who were here with the Raiders had it pretty buttoned up. Josh McDaniels, John Gruden, Rich Bisaccia, and Antonio Pierce, all buttoned up. They all show up. They're all under cameras in the building. Everybody sees the practices. Everybody works hard when they're the head coach of the Raiders. Pete Carroll's just different. I had a phone call earlier today with one of my best friends, and he's reading a book about meditation. And he told me, man, you got to read this book. I go, why, man? I'm not a meditation guy. I can't do it. Like, I yell at the microwave when it's like got 30 seconds left. He goes, no, you got to read it. Part of this book is about Pete Carroll and how Pete Carroll was able to quiet his mind through meditation. I said, man, send me that book. I can maybe use that. Pete Carroll's going to be completely different than anything we've ever seen in Raider Nation history, because we know he's been super successful. We know that he's had so much success in this league, but we don't know the type of players that he wants at this point. We just don't know. Does anybody know? I don't know. Do you know if Pete Carroll wants veterans who are former Seahawks like Geno Smith and Bobby Wagner? Or do you think Pete Carroll at 73 going on 74 has time that he wants to break in rookies across the board and teach rookies how to play football? I don't know. Maybe this is what energizes Pete. A combination of Max Crosby, Robert Spillane, Jacoby Myers, breaking in a veteran quarterback with a rookie quarterback. I don't know. But Pete Carroll is going to want a style of play with this team. And the more research I do and the more listening I do, I listen a lot, is that Pete Carroll wants to run the football. And Chip Kelly wants to run the football to set up the pass, because that's what he's done his entire life. That's how he's been able to do that. So I think the running back position is going to be the most important draft piece other than the quarterback. You know, Raider Nation wants everything. Raider fans want a wide receiver, a right tackle. They want an outside linebacker. Man, when was the last time we had an outside linebacker? When was the last time we have an outside linebacker? I watched the game last night with a former Raider, and we were talking about, because the hockey game was tough. They were going to fight, man. There could be fights. I'm like, who's the toughest guy on the Raiders? Do the Raiders have any tough guys? Other than Max Crosby, but Max isn't going to get in a fight. Raiders need some tough guys to come in here. So I mentioned Four Nations. Zig Fracassi, my longtime colleague and friend, just saw him at the Super Bowl. He covers the NFL on NFL radio. He's the best update anchor in the history of sports, and he loves hockey. And Zig, I haven't talked to you about this. We've been texting back. Four Nations, to me, fulfilled my life here in mid-February coming off the Super Bowl. I loved it. How about you?
Good to be with you as always, and I appreciate it. I love seeing you, too. It's been way too long.